enough is enough. Big special edition day 176. We're featuring a couple of Summit Salon Academy, Anderson, Indiana, two student Estes that are just blowing it up behind the chair. Malia Level and Every Kronk, they are Esti students, and I think they're way ahead of their time. Let me tell you why I wanted them on the show. I actually have been following on my news feeds, and I just absolutely love the work that they're doing. So Malia is levels free. Her goal is, I think she's on the back end. She's going to be graduating around December. And these are ST students now, guys. Going to be graduating probably level 4. So too is Avery Kronk as the same. Malia is 21 and Avery's 20. Average service tickets are very, very similar. Sticker price rates are similar. They're both referral Jedis. So, by the time they graduate, and it's basically, like a 4 or 5 month run. This is not probably 50, 60 referrals. So they're just blowing it up there. Rebook is 80 and 90. RTS, big time. 34% on Malia's end, and Avery's at just under 30. So they are just doing a great job there as well. They're going to tell you their story, but in essence, their timeline is Malia graduates high school in 16, does some college, and decides no, she wants to pivot to Esti, enrolls in Summit Salon Academy, and starts in 2019, actually April of this year, as does Avery. She is going to due to graduate back end of November, front end of December, probably in or around December 10th. And she's, like I said, currently at L3 going for 4. Avery, similar, graduates from high school a couple years later at 18. She's actually enrolled in college at pursuing a pre-med degree in, I believe it's dermatology. And she said, no, it was her calling younger to do, be in this business. So she shows up in April this year at Summit Salon Academy Anderson, and she's due to graduate in December as well. And like I said, they're both going for a level 4. You guys really have to follow both of them on Instagram. So Malia's Instagram handle is Skin by Malia, and Avery's is aesthetics by _ Avery. And Malia is at about 175 followers, and Avery's at just around 190. All the referrals are coming from, or a lot of the referrals are coming from Instagram, and they have the overwhelming majority of their guests are now on their pages as well. So they're off to just like a lightning start, posting on a regular basis. Using. Wait till you see what they're doing in the videography and their highlights. It really is something extraordinary. So what we're going to do is they're in our green room now. We're going to go and get them. We're going to get there talking about their story, and then have them share some of the things that they're doing on social. So here we go. We're going to start this here. We're going to go over here. We're going to do this. And there they are. You guys, why don't you give it up for them, will ya? Did you hear me bragging on you?
Yeah.
All right, well, who's going to get us started? We always like with the story first, and that is, I think I'm going to get started with you, Malia, and what you were doing before you decided to go to Summit Salon Academy, and what was it that inspired you to get on the track, extraordinary track that you're on now?
Well, I've always loved doing makeup, and I did it for my friends in high school, and someone told me I would be good at aesthetics, and I had no idea that was even a thing that people did for a living. And so it was always in the back of my mind. But I went to college for a couple years for elementary education, and it just wasn't what I felt like I wanted to do. I wanted to do aesthetics, and so I decided to take a tour of the school, and I loved it, and I got signed up, and here we are.
I love the part where you're always, it's the calling of your soul to do this, but you got to kind of pursue the traditional post, secondary education, high school, and you do some college, and you go, no, I'm dying here. I want to pursue what my, what moves my soul. What about you,
Yeah.
Avery? I know that your story is a little bit similar, but you were going for some pre-med stuff.
So yeah, when I was in high school, I was always interested in skincare, and I thought like I'm gonna go into dermatology and I'm gonna do it. And so I moved from Indiana to Colorado. I went to the University of Colorado, and about halfway through the semester, I just wasn't really as passionate as I felt like I should be. And so I called my mom in a panic and had the previous night I had done all my friends' makeup for Halloween and they all talked about how much they loved it. And I had thought about aesthetics before. So I called my mom in a panic and was just like, I'm going to move home and we're going to enroll at Summit in Anderson and I'm going to do aesthetics. And she was like, are you sure? And I was like, yeah, I'm sure. And so I moved home after the semester, toured the school a few days later, and enrolled.
So what is story? Was she a little bit surprised at first because that's a big pivot?
Yeah, she kind of knew that I wasn't really as happy within my classes and everything. So I think she kind of had a feeling that I might move home or change my major or something. But yeah, she kind of, I feel like she knew, and she couldn't have been any more supportive. It was amazing.
Nice, nice. So what about what about you, Malia? Did your mom or dad like, was that surprising to see you pivot?
No, I've always been really into makeup and skincare, and they're all really supportive too.
So now you're in Summit Salon Academy, but there's always something that kind of happens to kind of like turn on the light bulb moments, the OMG. What was yours, Avery, that once you got into the game that really kind of, and maybe it happened to you before you showed up, but you're very, very motivated, and we're curious as to why.
Um, I mean, even before we started taking clients, I knew that I was really enjoying it. But then when I started taking clients and was able to actually like get to work on people and get to like have that one-on-one interaction, I just fell in love. And like, I'm just so passionate about it that it drives me to want to do my very best.
So it really is not only do you love what you're doing what you love, but you love the experience of serving people. Are you seeing any, the potential, the income potential? I think you and I were chatting the other day on the phone, and it was like you're going to probably end up at an income that's equal to or greater than if you would have pursued pre-med.
Yeah, I hope so.
Oh
Sure.
yeah,
Yeah.
big. Well, what about you, Malia? What turned on your light bulb?
Mine's similar. Just working on the clients and being hands-on with people's skin and doing their makeup. And when they're so happy with the outcome, it just feels so good.
Yeah, so it's very, very, and what you guys are doing when we get to your social media pages, the work that you're doing is amazing. I mean, it looks like you're doing some real serious esthetician specialty service, so you get to really see the transformation. It's got to be blowing your mind.
It's a good feeling for sure, being able to then see the
Yeah.
results.
So Malia, where do you, what's it like now? I mean, you're kind of sort of in a place, both of you, that are almost opposite the place you were in just a few months ago. How is this changing your life?
Um, well, now I'm studying for my state exam. We just took our final yesterday. Really just getting as much practice as we can get before we graduate and studying and furthering our education.
Yeah, it almost sounds like getting done with this part of your life is the ginormous blip on the radar so that you can like go and make some money and have a great career. Well, how about you, Avery? When I ask you what it's like, how is this changing your life now, even though you're in school and you got more life to go?
Just my overall happiness, getting to do what I love. When I was in Colorado and in college, I had met so many friends and made so many great memories, but my studies, like I knew like this is not what I'm going to be doing and I can't do this for the rest of my life. So now being into like a place where I know like I am just so happy that I get to do this for the rest of my life.
Yeah, you were telling me when you and I were chatting that you were under like a lot of stress. You were like superly bummed out, and that conversation you had with your mother when you were on campus, and it's almost like you were melting down. And as I look at you now, it's like, whoa, like this is what I want to be. This is where I'm supposed to be.
Yeah.
So, what's next on Malia's radar? Like, what's like the next big blip that's coming your way that's got you stoked, Malia?
I'm really excited to graduate and work with Lacey at Clipzone, and before that, pass my exam and finish up my hours.
Yeah, and yeah, I want the world to know that Lacey Jarvis, who once upon a time was sitting where you were sitting, and now she's like blowing it up as an Esti. You're going to be her associate here real soon, so that's going to be, she's a real Obi-Wan. So I think that's something to really get stoked about. Avery, what's cooking with you? What do you see yourself doing over the next several months?
Well, I'm not for sure what I'll be doing after school yet. It's still in the works or in the making, but just continuing my education. We both just got certified in dermaplaning a few weeks ago. And so just getting all of those certifications that I can and just learning more. And like Malia said, just studying for the state boards and passing. And
so you two already got certified in kind of like a special what was what was that service that you got certified in?
Dermaplaning.
Wow. Now, are you doing that while you're in school as well? Has that become part of your service menu?
That's one of the things that you have to have your license to do. So we're able to practice on friends and family, and then once we are licensed, we're able to offer that to any of our clients.
So, in a nutshell, dermaplaning is what?
Physical exfoliation of the skin. So you just take a scalpel and you're going to go over the skin, and it removes all of that peach fuzz.
Wow.
Been up to 2 weeks, and then or the dead skin that's been up for 2 weeks, and it just really gives you that glow.
And my hunch is that's a high ticket service when you get into the salon, and that's a very specialized Esti service.
Yes.
I'm going to be calling both of you doctors here in a couple of minutes. I mean, that's some serious stuff, man. So there's people, maybe if students that are on the front end of school, people thinking about going to school, they're watching this, maybe even some graduates, and they're looking at both of you, listening to you, they're identifying with both of you, but they're not sure. Like, they're scared. What might just tell them that would motivate them to go, look, let's just jump in the pool and, getting started. What do you say?
Yeah, I say just go for it. I was really nervous because it was something new and out of my comfort zone. And once I got started and learned all the basics and started taking clients, I realized that I was nervous for no reason and that I was better at it than I thought I would be. And I feel like I'm making a difference for people and making them feel good about themselves. And that's what I love.
I love what you said, that once you kind of like do it, the experience kind of surprises you. You go, okay, this isn't as creepy as I thought. It's kind of cool. And before you know it, it's almost, you feel like somebody's poured nitroglycerin on your bonfire, and now you're like you're totally stoked.
Yeah.
What about what about you, Eve? What do you say to somebody that's maybe kind of creeped out by this and they're not sure? What's happened to you where you can say to them, go for it?
I would definitely go with what Malia said, like just being confident, and then find your passion. I mean, there's so many different things that you could go into and do with an aesthetics license, and find what is truly for you within that. And then just like I've said, never stop learning.
Yeah. Well, we've got a couple minutes left, and I want to get you both talking about the amazing work you're doing. You're using Instagram to kind of brand yourself, build your clientele. I want to start with Malia, because Malia, you didn't know this, but I'm going to hold your your page up so that people can see your Instagram page. What in the world are you doing on Instagram that's getting you the juice that it's getting? Because as I look at your grids, some of your grids are video, some of your grids are slides. And we're just dying to know, like, how'd you learn to do this, and how's it working for you?
Yeah. Well, we learned a lot about social media in class and by reading the book. And I basically just try to always remember to take pictures of my work and before and afters, and try to post a product every week and inform people what it does.
Now this is a piece of work. You're using time lapse video in one of the grids where you're actually showing the procedure.
Yeah.
And what is that? It looked like it's
A facial.
you're right. But it has to be what, a 15, 20-second time lapse. That's cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, what are your as I'm looking at it, you got quite a few views. What are your clients say? And then you're on your caption, you're saying it's a $28 service. Has that gotten you some juice?
Yeah.
It's extraordinary. And I mean, you've got a few of them. I'm looking now. You're doing something with what is that?
That's microdermabrasion.
And so that's like a real time deal, and that promotes that service as well. Yes.
Yeah.
And then you've got a dermaplane highlight. Talk about that.
Yeah, that's a video my instructor took when we were doing our training to get certified in that.
Oh, so this is what you were talking about a couple of minutes ago, huh?
Yeah.
Wow. So, and this looks like it's a newer highlight. When did you post that?
I posted that story a week or so ago, but I just added it to my highlights.
I love it. I love it. So, Avery, what about you? I'm going to pull up your Instagram page as well. What are you doing on Instagram that's making a difference for you?
I think, well, for a lot of my friends and family, they all said that they wanted to come see me, but they didn't know what the services entailed. So I like to post like a lot of videos and boomerangs and just tell each client like what they'll be going into and what they'll be receiving, so that's not going in blind to each service.
Yeah, and as I'm like scrolling your grids, some of these, like this is it's almost like a swipe to the left, swipe to the right slideshow, and then some of them are videos.
Yeah.
I'm going to just put a video on here so people can see what you're up to. This looks interesting. What is this?
So that's the microdermabrasion also that Malia was talking about.
And so you're doing that to promote. I mean, that's an actual procedure. It almost looks like you're a surgeon doing, doing a very, and I mean, that's some really innovative videography. Is that getting you some juice? Like what kind of comments are you getting from clients that are watching this? I mean, that's what we're curious about.
Yeah. So a lot of people just talk about how they love that how informative that I am, and they know exactly what they're going to be receiving, because I feel like that's a lot of people's problem, is they don't know exactly what they'll be going into, and they love that they know exactly what will be happening, when will be happening, how long, what products will be used.
No, I mean, I'm loving this. Now you're showing I think it's a waxing highlight. Yeah, it is a waxing highlight. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 slides in this. And then you have, I mean, you both of you have really put an amazing highlight library together. This one here, it looks like you're featuring facials.
Yeah.
Right, and then you even have one that where you're doing it looks like you're featuring product.
Yeah.
Well, what is the product thing like? When your clients watch that, is it basically products that you're using that support your services?
Yeah, it's products that I'm using, then I also use it to help me sell retail when I'm done with the services. So like there's a picture on there where I have a before and after using a product, and that sold me about 2 or 3 of that one product just based on that picture.
Wow. And now, I'm actually looking at one here, Malaya, you've got that we're looking at one of your highlights that, see if I can get it to, so you're like both of you are recording the actual procedure. It's almost looks like it's a surgical theater. And trust me when I tell you, there are a lot of estheticians that are in the salon spa that are not this innovative, and you're doing this and you're still in school. I mean, that's what I think is so progressive. Now, here's one, Malia. This is a highlight that you're doing. It looks like you're doing some eyebrow services. What's that?
Yeah, that's my that looks like my waxing highlight. I like to take a before and after because I feel like eyebrows are kind of a big deal because they're on your face, and so I just wanted to show my work.
It's awesome. It's awesome stuff, man. Really, really, really good. Now we're running a little bit over. I wanted to really make sure that the tutorial part of the interview was getting you two talking about how you're using Instagram as students to build, to really, get that figured out so that when you get out of school, Instagram becomes a digital business building tool for both of you. And I think you're using it, both of you are using it on unprecedented ways. So I kudos to you. I mean, this is really edgy stuff that you're both doing.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Now, are there any other keys? We got a couple of minutes left that either one of you want to talk about that kind of go beyond social. That I know that Malia, you talk about retail conversations in real time and is important, and Avery, you're talking about using not stop learning and using your resources. So I'm going to give you each a few seconds to talk about what that means.
Yeah, I just make sure that I let people know that a big part of how their skin looks is by what they use at home. So I want them to know they should be using professional products, and that's why I bring up retail with everyone.
Yeah, and you're running, I mean, I think you're running just this side of 30% retail. So it really is apparent that you have kind of integrated the retail conversation into your, I'm going to call it bedside manner, as you're rendering an Esti service. What about you, Avery? What would you say that another key is that you're using that's really kind of fueling your fire?
Just to keep learning and doing your research. I feel like with social media, new types of like makeup, facials, anything that's coming out, just to keep up on all the trends and just make sure you're up to date. And I feel like that's how a lot of people can get back and behind, is that they're not in with what's in. So it speaks for.
Well, both of you strike me as you're very uninhibited with regard to how you're using Instagram and all the features on Instagram, whether we're talking highlights, video, slides as you're swiping rights on your grids. You're actually recording procedures, and frankly, a lot of graduates, Esti grads, that's too intimidating for them, and it's almost like you two are like you don't know any better. No, we're going to push the envelope and on a regular basis discover ways that we can really create some interesting content that gets people compelled to have us serve them. So it's wonderful what you're doing.
Thank you.
Well, listen, we're out of time, but we're going to stay close to you. I follow both of you, and I try to make comments on your posts. And I know that both of you, once you graduate, are going to be kind of in the community. So I'm gonna tell you both, I'd love to have you back for an encore once you get out of school and you're 3 months, 6 months, a year into the game, to see how much this has fueled your fire, because you're both probably 3 to 4 years ahead of your time and you haven't even graduated yet.
We'd love it. Yeah.
All right. Well, let's give it up for these guys one more time, will ya? I know you have some guests to do, so I'm going to let you get back to your life, but thanks a lot for joining us this afternoon, and say hi to my homies at Summit Salon Academy in Anderson.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank
All right.
you.
One more time, you guys. That was off the freaking charts, man. That really was off the charts. I'm going to see if I can kind of bring back what they were talking about, because on the keys, on Malia's key, did you guys see when I brought you to their pages? You really have to go to their pages, guys, and see what they're doing. So we'll go back to Malaya's page. It's Skin by Malaya. Look at how she's using her grids, and on her grids, you've got video, you've got slide to the right. I mean, some of this is serious stuff. I mean, this is a time lapse of a very high-end facial that she's giving. Guys, Estes can do this in real time. I know that Emily Richardson, she's going to be talking about her social media intensive here in about a half an hour on the show. But don't look now, but this is great content to be inspired by. And then as I continue to just kind of scroll down on the Instagram page, there's she's using this is a video of product that she uses, and this is all on her grids. We haven't even looked at the other content yet. So it's amazing. It's just absolutely amazing stuff. Now, then when you go on her highlights, this is wonderful. This is what they were just certified in, dermaplaning. She is practicing dermaplane. She has a highlight that she created on that. That's dermaplaning. They're both certified in dermaplane, and they're still in school. They haven't graduated yet, you guys. This is amazing stuff. And I'm hoping that this is going to inspire. There's a lot of Estes that have been out in the world, 1, 2, 3, 5 years, and this is intimidating. It's like these, 20, 21 years old in school doing this. So I can't encourage you enough to, get in the game. And then when we go to, the other pages here, where was I? Oh yeah, Avery's page. This is really cool because Avery is doing the same thing on her grid. But oh no, look, there's more. She's actually has an she's got her own IGTV channel now, and it looks like, am I watching this right? Oh my God, it looks like she's on IGTV, and she's got a time lapse of a treatment that she's doing. So this is textbook examples of how they're using Instagram. So I hope you enjoyed it. And we're going to be back tomorrow night with interview 177. I wanted to get these 2 special editions in today because both of them are going to be graduating in December. And once they graduate, it's all bets off. I don't know if they're going to be on our radar or not. So I wanted to make sure that we had it. So did you like that? Patty Bauer Cheney, wasn't that was, I mean, they blew it up big time. So what we're going to do is I'm going to come back. We're going to come back in about 20, 25 minutes. Emily Richardson, who, by the way, is a Summit Spa Jedi coach. She did an intensive, online intensive about a month ago. And she really learned a boatload, and she's doing an encore performance on another intensive. I'm going to have her back in about 20 minutes. So I'm going to go off the air. I'm going to go get her. I'm going to bring her back on the air because I want her to be talking about all the real cool stuff she's doing, and it's really paired up to this conversation. So stay tuned.